Hi everyone, my name is Zeenit Saban-Jacobs and I am the poet and author of the book Inside an Eyeball. Welcome to my poetry reading. Today I'm going to be reading 10 poems for you, so let's go. The first poem is titled The Birds. Under a plume of smoke, her charcoal fingers frantically hit the floor, and sparks from her grinding teeth ignite a flint, revealing a cluttered and messy den. Holding the tiny flame in her hand, she scales a tower of leaning chest drawers to once again retire the light, turning her back on the many bulbs exploding in her mind. But the light dances in a wind flowing from under her breath like an open window, becoming a bird of fire, taking to the sky. And outside this den are 1,000 birds circling her mind. They light the way, patiently waiting for her to summon them home. The next poem is Samsara. On bended knee, we prostrate on her skin as she wipes our tears. A concave hand made of soil is not a final resting place. Muddied but aware that the sky does not overlook those with stolen minds who flee from the whispers of their ancestors as the mother toils. At night, earth sleeps with one eye open, scheming to feast and swallow all in her belly. But under aged hills we will be grounded again, from dust to atoms. Stars, it is said, that nothing is also something. But I wonder, wondering as we passing through, willingly and otherwise. So the following poem, titled Everything is a Dream, is something I wrote with a heavy heart. And this poem reflects the current state of affairs in our world and just the complete undermining of international law, the violation of international law. It feels like we're heading down a very slippery slope. Evil eye, wide awake and yet asleep, party to this madness and make-believe. A grand illusion, your solipsism. My skin tells you a story about a great pain, their pain. Under beige suns you will discover east and west, a singular body, the suffering servant. But you spit on my face and dig holes in my back to bury those who are no more. The flesh of my flesh, a nightmare my eyes cannot rinse. And everything is a dream. The world is dying, democracy dozing, law loiters as night terrors run amok, society slumbers on the bruised and broken, those helpless and hungry, an orphan child, a disfigured elder, searching for a safe space whilst living in the minds of the ghouls that rule, mere playthings for the rotten and cruel. Okay, so let us move to the next poem. Stranger. Stranger, I must confess my quiet journeys to the desert. But first, the encroaching moon will drape her evening dress over misty eyes on a reclining day, dimming curtains of salt and skin, confining us to a dream. En route overseas to observe a face in the mountain, and sturdy-shouldered contours of the Sahara resting under a blanket of clouds. I peck the dunes, use my palms to make shapes on its lower back and soft ridges, while a leopard-faced buzzard settles nearby to hiss. But the mirage on a mount is only but a knoll, stony and harsh to the touch, to make a slave of this mind. And so I toss and turn till the break of dawn, but to move or stay is the sum of equals in a trek towards martyrdom. So let us move to the next poem. Okay, so the next poem is called Meeting with the Alone. I was invited into the company of the alone by the alone, an audience with no one. In the presence of the self, there is a calling. Under its wings will you be taken in, to sit in solitude, but never alone. To run from all the noise and collide with stillness, your truth, a quiet confidence, unwritten rhymes. I was called into the company of the alone by the alone to break with the superfluous and dispose of this body, diseases of newer times and modern things, and solitude is fortitude in the balancing of acts, in a measure of the mind. I speak to that which often talks to me, from the spirit and in the soul, the only company that brings everlasting peace, a reset within four walls, your room, the brain, pineal light. So moving on to our next poem, titled Night Fiction. Many messengers come at night to bring glad tidings of another world, an alternative body and other beings. They roam the fourth or fifth plane concealed from the eye. You are moved to speak in many tongues, but only have one. And this rented body is a machine of the machine, with a parasympathetic pulse, automatic but aware. Beyond my grip, many messengers will come in the dead of night, a man, woman, and sometimes a cloud. An older you hiding in plain sight, collecting time, as they watch from the grey and white matter in your brain to stalk every move in a device you barely know. Okay, so the next two poems, they're part 1 and part 2, and these are poems heavily influenced by Sufism and mysticism. Someone Else, Part 1. To meet with the unknown, you must become someone else. A decade it has been since I last saw a stranger, one whose name I do not know and face I cannot remember. Over my shoulder in a wind, a face shrouded in secrecy, radiant. Bright orbs hiding in the corner of my eye, a figure was formed, adding fire to an already flaming heart. An inevitable convergence for the one who is always knocking, the rich beggar who is never poor. We are inseparable, like the lips on a mouth in tune. Our songs can forge a weapon from this madness, nearness, intimacy, hal avwajed, the intoxication. My body's threshold is well known, and we are over in a flash of brilliance. I wear another look, and piece together what is left of you for tomorrow. And the electric hairs on my neck remind me that we are all other people, that I too may be someone else. I wish to delay someone else, Part 2. To slowly die is no easy affair. I was silent before, then told of another me by my other self, don't you know, about a wild awakening that will seize your soul. I am reminded of the visitor again, one who is friend but also foe, and the malak will come as you are. So tell me, Azrael, who is watching whom? Murakaba, Murakaba. Some die whilst alive, while others die only in death. And the difference we do not know, the brain is a box of many secrets, hidden in a veil to bring you near. Inside your ears, beyond the beating drum, there is a lyric behind your teeth, from the fruits that make you alive, and closer to the one you are dying to meet, in this world and the next, on a journey that is not of our making. Lucid daydreaming. It began with the ringing of a bell at your place, unbeknownst to me a mere go-between, and then it happened. You emerged whimsical, with a bounce in your step, a lucid daydream. I watched you slowly come my way like an invitation, with a gliding foot and heel that spoke to your nature, perfectly dignified, stirring our unusual drawl. But afraid you were of the eyes of a stormy 20-something, and the unfettered feeling, your abrupt awakening. I study the lines on your jaw as your lips move, and read the history penned on your glowing face. You return my smile with a warm look that binds us here, delightful, delicious. And the rose petals flowing from your tongue sprout 1,000 lilies that bounce in the center of my chest, nervous blossoms that dare this gentle heart to like you madly. The following poem is dedicated to the people of Palestine. A dream that will never die. You cannot break a diamond, but you can try. Carbon will expand and push back. Its hardened edges are refined under stress and duress, amidst the rockets, rebels, and monsters with machines. But we are the low and lame from afar, accomplices, bystanders who are blind to the white-clothed men and women, the red children too, youngins who fly into the shrieking sky towards eternity. The only charity they have known is a bereft mother's cold goodbye, locked in a tear, descending on ashy faces and chapped lips, a final message before her little birds take flight. But jewels they remain, pebbles toughened under fire and fury to bury martyrs in hollowed-out plains, craters like hungry bellies. And when the sun goes deep in the earth to lament, robust jewels emerge glistening under a smiling moon on the streets of Gaza, ready to shine once more, for a diamond can only be cut by another, and newer ones will lodge themselves in 1,000 slings once more, ready to fight for tomorrow.